Hello all. So in this session we are going to discuss about linear variable differential transformer. So this device is used to measure linear displacement, and linear displacement is movement in one direction along a single axis. A position or linear displacement sensor is a device whose output signal represents the distance an object has traveled from a reference point. Okay, a displacement measurement also indicates the direction of motion, because while measuring a particular displacement made by an object, we need to know from where to where the object is moved. Okay, that is the direction of the displacement. Now LVDT displacement sensors converts the linear motion of a particular object into electrical signal or proportional electrical signal, which may be voltage, current, resistance and all. And the principle of LVDT is mutual induction. Now in the below figure you can see from the left side, when a force is applied to this material, due to the presence of force or due to the effect of force, it moves to the back side and it makes an displacement here. Okay, in the dotted lines the position is shown is the first position, and in the end position is the position reached by the object after the force is applied. Okay, so this is the effect of a force on a particular object. When a force is acting on a object, it will move some distance or displacement, and this displacement is measured by placing this object or placing this moment area within the range of a magnetic field. These LVDTs operate on the principle of a transformer. That is, the principle of a transformer is mutual induction. Now, as shown in this figure in the right side, the LVDT consists of a coil assembly and a core. The cylinder type material shown in the center is the core, and around it you can see three different coils are wounded from the right side, and both the end coils, that is the first one and the third one, are the secondary coil, and the center coil is the primary coil. And the object which is moving, or the object which is making the displacement, is allowed to move through the center of this hollow core. That is, the core is hollow, that is it is providing a space in order to move the object, for the object to move through it. So you can see a dotted line. In a dotted line, the object which is moving inside the hollow core. So as the object moves forward and backward through this core, the flux linked with these windings changes. As a result, in the secondary windings, a voltage will be induced. Okay, and the primary is excited by the external AC source. As you can see here, in the above you can see an AC source which excites the primary, and there is no electrical connection between this primary winding and the end secondary windings. Okay, so the principle by which the voltage is induced in this both the end secondary winding is mutual induction. And why that voltage is induced in that secondary winding? It is due to the movement of the object which is placed inside the hollow core. So as a result, an AC voltage will be produced in the secondary windings, and the AC voltage magnitude or amplitude of the AC voltage depends upon the position of the object which is moving inside. Now we can see what is the LVDT working principle. Look at that figure. As I have told, the principle is mutual induction, that is transformer principle. So when an AC excitation is given to the input, that is to primary winding, what will happen? A magnetic field is produced. in the place where the core is placed. Core is you can see the core is moving here, that is the object is placed inside the hollow core, so it is in effect the core is moving upward and downward. Okay, so here magnetic field is the where is the magnetic field present here? It is between this primary winding and the secondary winding. Okay, now due to the application of the input AC voltage, and magnetic field is produced between this primary winding and the secondary winding. Now this magnetic field induces a mutual current in the secondary winding, and due to this the induced voltages in the secondary windings are E1 and E2. Okay, the induced voltages in both secondary windings is E1 and E2, let it be like that. Now you can see both these windings, that is secondary windings, are connected in a definite manner, that is the bottom side of each winding is connected together here. Okay, and the output is taken across the top side of both secondary windings. So this type of connection is series opposition. Now as the secondary windings are connected in series opposition manner, then the net output voltage will be the difference of both the induced voltages E1 and E2 in the secondary windings. Okay, hence you can see from this equation the output voltage of the LVDT is E0 is equal to E1 minus E2. This is because the secondary windings are connected in series opposition. Now according to the position of this core in the center, there are three cases that may arise. Okay, that is the core can take the position in the top side, in the extreme top side, in the extreme bottom side, or in the null position, or you can say in the left side, right side, or in null position. So depending upon the three different position, the output voltage will be different. So let us see how it varies depending upon the positions of the core. So case 1, when the core moves S1 towards the S1, S1 means to the left side, maximum left side. When the core of the LVDT moves towards the secondary winding S1, that is in the left side, the winding is S1. So when the core is moving towards S1, then flux linkage with S1 will be more compared to the S2. This means that the EMF induced in the S1 will be more than the EMF induced in the S2. Therefore E1 will be greater than E2. E1 is the output of S1 and E2 is the output of S2. So E1 will be greater than E2. So our output voltage, net output voltage, will be E0 is equal to E1 minus E2. So as E1 is greater than E2, the whole output voltage will become positive. This means that whenever the output voltage E0 is positive, the core is moving left side. Okay, and in this case the output voltage E0 will be in phase with the primary voltage. Now case 2, when the core is in null position, as you can see the figure in the right side, here the core is in the null side, that is core is below the primary winding itself, in the center itself. It is not moving either upwards or downwards or the left to right, it is just staying in the center. So in this case, what will be the voltages induced in the secondary winding? Both the voltages will be same, that is both E1 and E2 will be equal. So our output voltage will be E0 is equal to E1 minus E2. Therefore as both of this is equal, then output voltage will be E1 minus E2, 0 voltage. So it means that as the output voltage is 0, it means that the core is at the null position or it is not moving. Okay, now case 3. Case 3 is when the core moves towards S2, that is to the maximum right position. You can see in the figure here, the core is moving towards S2. S2 is the other secondary winding which is placed in the right side. When the core is moving towards the S2, what will happen? The EMF induced across it. What is the EMF induced across S2? It is E2. So in this case E2 will be greater than E1 because the flux linkages with this winding is greater than the flux linkages with first secondary winding, that is S1. So due to the flux linkages is greater here, the EMF across it will be greater. So E2 greater than E1. So in this case our output voltage E0 is equal to E1 minus E2 due to the series opposed connection. So here E2 is greater than E1, therefore the whole term or the output voltage will be negative here. Okay, so in this case the output voltage E0 will be in phase opposition. In the first case it was in phase with the primary voltage, but in this case it is in phase opposition. Phase opposition means 180 degree out of phase with the primary voltage. So if the output voltage which we are measuring is 180 degree out of phase, then we can assume the core is moving towards right position or towards up position. By measuring the phase of the output voltage, we can identify to which direction our core is moving. Okay, and by measuring the amplitude of the output voltage, we can determine how much distance this object is moved from its null position. Okay, so amplitude related to the distance moved, and phase, whether in phase or zero or out of phase, this will give the idea to the direction of movement of the object. So this is the principle of LVDT. Now there is some disadvantages of making this LVDT principle practically possible. Okay, because if you are measuring the output voltage by means of a voltmeter, then we cannot detect from a voltmeter we cannot get the idea of phase opposition or in phase. Okay, it will just move for any case, where even if the object is moving to the right side or if it is moving to the left side, it will give the same deflection. Or from the voltmeter, by connecting a voltmeter to the output, we cannot get whether it is in phase or out of phase, or whether it is moving left side, right side, or we cannot get an idea of direction of the movement of the object by if we are using a normal meter here. Okay, so it will not give accurate measurement. Also, if rapid core motions are to be measured, then the meter cannot follow or record it. Okay, if the core is moving very fast, then our voltmeter cannot follow that movement, or it cannot record it accurately. So in such cases we should move forward for an oscillograph or an oscilloscope for measuring the output voltage. So if we are using such a device, then we will get the accurate waveform, or we will get the actual waveform of the output in the amplitude modulated sine wave. It is the output produced. So that output sine wave will get as such in the, or will be recorded as such in the oscillograph. Okay, but whether it is easily understandable, that type of output, that is while measuring a displacement of an object, we are getting sine wave, and from that sine wave we need to understand ourselves what is the displacement. So it is somewhat more complex. So what is our need? Our need is to obtain exactly what we are measuring, exactly the mechanical displacement we are measuring. We need to get it in a number format. Okay, so for that we need to employ some more devices, some more components, that is proper demodulation and filtering circuits are to be employed, and then only we can obtain the mechanical displacement as such. Okay, so that is the measurement. So in this slide I have given the conclusions of the working principle. So in this slide you can see LVDT working principle based graph, output voltage graph. Okay, that is a variation of output with respect to the position of the core is shown here, and 0 to B and 0 to A is the linear range of the working of the LVDT. Okay, now in these figures you can see the core moment in a LVDT, linear variable differential transformer, and corresponding waveform, corresponding A0, corresponding secondary voltages and the primary voltage, first secondary voltage, secondary voltage. Okay, and this is null position, and this is series opposition secondaries, and this is the output waveform which we have seen before. And this figure shows the rotational differential transformer. So in the previous case we have learned the linear variable differential transformer. So this is a rotational differential transformer. It is similar, the concept and principle is similar, but here instead of moving and core upward and backward, here the rotation is to be measured here. So the rotation, the moving shaft which is rotating, is placed inside or is placed in between the primary and secondaries. The area between the primary and secondaries, there we are placing a rotating shaft, and depending upon the variation in the magnetic field relating to the secondary 1 and secondary 2, the output voltage will get various, and by analyzing that output voltage we will measure the angle of rotation. So this is the working of rotational differential transformer. That is it. And in this figure you can see the phase sensitive demodulator and filters. Why we are employing this? In order to get our measured displacement in a mechanical manner itself. That is, what we are measuring, we need to obtain it in the as such itself. Then only we can easily readable. Then only we can easily understand the measurement. So for that we need to employ modulator, demodulator and filters. So the figures corresponding to that is given here. Now let us move on to the advantages of LVDTs. First one, smooth and wide range of operation. That is, it can measure the displacement ranging from 1.25 mm to 250 mm. That is, it is a great range. That is, 1.25 mm is such a small value, and 250 mm is somewhat in a greater range. So it is a wide range of operation and high sensitivity. LVDT gives a high output value, so that there is no need for any amplifier circuit for the amplification process. Typically the sensitivity of LVDT is recorded as 40 volt per millimeter, and it has low hysteresis losses also low friction loss also. And LVDT have low hysteresis losses, therefore repeatability is excellent. Hysteresis losses is less, therefore the repeatability of a LVDT is good under all conditions. And friction losses is also less in case of LVDT. And as I have told, the core is a hollow former, so there is no concept of friction losses, because here no interaction of this movable object and core takes place. That is, no touching, there is no joint between the core and the movable object, therefore no friction causes, therefore no losses also. Hence it gives accurate and output value. Fifth one is rugged operation. It can tolerate a high degree of shock and variation, especially when the core is loaded with the spring. And next is power consumption is low. LVDT consume very low power of approximately 1 watt during its operation. It is 1 watt power is almost very low. Therefore power required for operating an LVDT for displacement measurement is very less. And a direct conversion to electrical signal, and they convert the linear displacement directly to the corresponding electrical voltage signal, which are easy to process further by means of any electrical signal recording device. And fast dynamic response. Due to the absence of friction, its dynamic response becomes very fast to change in a core position. Now disadvantages. LVDT is an inductive transducer, so it is sensitive to stray magnetic field. Hence an extra setup is required to protect it from stray magnetic field. There is a chance of unwanted magnetic field to interact with the area between this primary and secondary, and which may also result in the change in the output voltage. So we need to take care such stray magnetic field does not enter the area. Since it is an electromagnetic device, so it will also get affected by the vibrations and temperature variation. Okay, so vibrations and temperature variations should also be kept minimum. And next, moving on to applications of LVDT. LVDT is used to measure physical quantities such as force, tension, pressure, weight, etc. And these quantities are first converted to displacement by the use of primary transducers. And then it is used to convert the displacement to the corresponding electrical voltage signal. Okay, and it is mainly used in industries as well as in servo mechanism. Wherever the moment or displacement is to be measured, we will use the LVDT. It is also used in industrial automation, aircraft, turbines, satellite, hydraulics, etc. And LVDT can be used for displacement measurement ranging from a fraction of millimeter to a few centimeter. Okay, in the advantages I have told, it has a wide range of operation. And these are the specifications of the LVDT. Just note it down. Okay, so that is all about LVDT. This is an important topic. Just go through. Thank you.